Hey everybody! Hey Dorothy. Thanks for coming over and say hi. So, no. Leave the camera alone, please. Please, do not knock it over. Back up. Please, back up. Hey, back up. Please don't knock it over. Excuse me. Thank you. Alright. And, yes. Alright, we're good. Alright, hey everybody. Sorry for that rough opening. So, first off, I want to apologize. I've been kind of slacking on the videos lately. I'm sorry, guys. I really am. So, from now on, we promise we're going to put out a video every Monday. So, stay tuned for videos every single Monday. Now, this is going to be a follow-up to the last video. I said I was going to cover the topic of trophy hunting and why it's controversial, but it actually helps animals in the long run. So, let's get started. So, although a lot of people don't like the idea of trophy hunting and they see it as this barbaric practice and how it's wrong to kill animals and stuff, and I can see why people would think that, I really do. But now, would I personally go trophy hunting? I wouldn't, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily against it. Here's why. Hear me out, please. Before you go jumping in the comments, hear me out first, alright? Alright. So, first of all, despite the controversies, there is substantial evidence that shows trophy hunting can actually be really good for endangered animals. So, I'll explain why real quick. Let me get down real quick. So, first off, in African countries, animals are in desperate situations. You know, there's overpopulation, there's human-wildlife conflict, especially with elephants. There's poaching. As a matter of fact, in regarding poaching, 95 to 100 elephants are killed daily. So, just to give you a rough estimation, that's over 30,000 elephants killed annually by poaching alone. So, they are decimating animal populations. They are destroying animal populations. However, sorry, I'm having trouble talking. But trophy hunting is not contributing to that population going down because a lot of people don't really understand trophy hunting and poaching. They're not the same thing. They're different things. So, poaching is the illegal killing of so many animals just to sell a rhino horn or an elephant ivory for medicinal purposes that don't even work. While trophy hunting is actually government-regulated programs that funds conservation. So, where did I leave off? My paper flew. Okay. So, before I continue further, I just want to know I have sources, and I will be citing sources throughout this video. So, according to Scientific American, animals are not actually at risk because of trophy hunting. They're actually at risk by habitat loss and poaching. And they kill thousands of animals, like I said, for their tusks, their horns, their hides for medicinal, cosmetics, or ornamental reasons. And they're also losing habitat because of agriculture. These animals are literally running out of places to live. Now, going back to poaching really quick, rhino horn, did you know, is believed to cure cancer in those areas. And it's worth over $28,000 per pound. $28,000 per pound. Now, that's a source from the Atlantic. However, it is an issue. So, some African nations actually came up with a solution. So, they actually took the demand of trophy hunting and used it to fund animal conservation. So, to make a long story short, they used the money that generates from hunting to, pay game guards, buy vehicles, patrol the Serengeti, go out there and arrest the poachers. That's all being funded because of trophy hunting. So yes, it is sad to see, elephants getting hunted and rhinos getting hunted. It is sad to see an elephant being hunted. But what people don't realize is that the money that went to hunting that elephant is going to go to saving hundreds of more elephants, thousands of more elephants. It's also going to go to saving rhinos, giraffes, gazelles. It's going to go to saving the wildlife in the area. Let me get close to the camera again. So, and also a lot of people think that it is the hunters running the programs, or they're just going out there and hunting whatever animals they want. Couldn't be farther from the truth. It's actually the government and the conservation groups themselves running those programs. And they also, a lot of people don't know, is they only go after the animals that are old, animals that are sick, animals that are unable to breed, and they pose an unusual danger to both people and animals. So let's say they've been killing a large population of other animals in the area, and they've also attacked and killed other people. So they'll label the animal as a nuisance animal. It's actually threatening the animals in the area and the people, so they will hunt that animal, but that money will go to saving more animals. Let's see. Now, in some African nations, they do handle it differently, but the goal is pretty much the same. South Africa, for instance, a portion of the proceeds actually goes directly to the locals in order to keep private lands for animals. So imagine the government paying you to keep a certain amount of acres of land for just the wild rhinos in the area. I use wild loosely. If you want to know why, look at my previous video. But that's actually worked. As a matter of fact, according to World Wildlife Fund, 1/3 of all white rhinos now live on private land, and the population went from just 100 to over 18,000. Trophy hunting incentivizes people to protect their animals, and it works. Now, in Namibia, which is another African nation, wildlife conservation is I can't read my handwriting. Wildlife conservation is funded mainly by trophy hunting. And 100% of the concessions actually go directly to the locals. I lost where I am. We're gonna move on to the next part. There's another source I'd like to state. Her name is Rosie Cooney, and I had to write it down because it's a long list. She is part of the Chair of Sustainable Use and Livelihood Specialist Group of International Union for the Conservation of Nature. Ooh, it's a tongue twister. And her quote is, "When well managed, these programs can be a huge help for wildlife conservation." Now, okay, here I am. So yes, 100% of the concession fees goes to Namibia communities. So it actually it goes to the locals. And not to mention, hunting is not just a conservation tool in Africa. It's also a conservation tool here in the U.S. even. For example, did you know in the U.S. hunting fees generate $200 million a year? $200 million to conservation. And it is one of the main sources of conservation for a bunch of states. And this process has actually helped save animals like our local ducks, otters, bison, and other wildlife, according to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife themselves. Not to mention, let's say, obviously, trophy hunters are not going to utilize the entire animal, so that can actually be meat to feed the local community, because as we all know, Some places in Africa are actually pretty poor. So if you can do something to feed those nations, that's another point in my book. I hope this video explained it a little bit more. If you want to learn more, I'll put some links in the description so you can go jump down the boat. I'll put some links in the description so you can kind of research on the topic a little bit more. I hope this kind of opened your eyes a little more about trophy hunting. Would I trophy hunt myself? I wouldn't, but I understand the conservation that it brings. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep an eye out for my Tiger King video I'm going to put out. So I'm going to talk about Tiger King. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.